You want to make a cutting of desert rose, but you cut the branch and already want to plant it directly in the substrate. I can already tell you one thing, that cutting your planting is going to die because growers never do that. Today I'm going to show you exactly how we do it in the nursery, the step-by-step that changes everything and gives you perfect rooting. Exactly the details that separate a lost cutting from a truly rooted cutting with very healthy and abundant roots starting from just a small branch, okay? Plants that, if you go out to buy them, are very expensive, but you can, starting from a branch, make your own cuttings in a very healthy way. You can even expand your collection, sell your cuttings, and even make money with a highly valued plant that is super trendy. And besides that, it's very beautiful. Just look at its flowers, how eye-catching they are and how wonderful they look. Abundant rooting like this, it's the details that make the difference. So if you want to have a cutting like this, really beautiful and healthy from a branch, you need to pay attention to every step, to every stage that we're going to teach here today, because that's what the growers do, and that's what will make a difference in your rooting process. The desert rose is a very hardy plant, but it's sensitive when it comes to propagating cuttings. And when you have a plant that's growing in a very healthy and robust way, and it is finally the right time to prune it, you have the opportunity to use the pruned branches from your desert rose to create brand new seedlings. Of course, that's if you do it the right way, and that's exactly what I'm going to teach you now. This plant, for example, is one that we're going to prune, and to increase the number of branches, we need to cut it the right way. But we're not going to throw away this top part, which is already producing flowers, by the way. What we're going to do is make a seedling, and you'll see the step-by-step process now. What you'll notice is that most people lose the branch not because of bad luck, but simply because they don't respect the plant's biology and timing. Here in the nursery, it's this method that we're going to do together now, which ensures a high success rate without any hacks or miracles. It's science. The first very important point is where we're going to cut, which branch we're going to use. Whenever you prune a desert rose and tea, especially if you want to make new cuttings, you should always choose a healthy, strong branch palm without any yellow spots, rot, signs of fungus, or those soft parts, okay? And then we're going to make a precise cut using a clean and very sharp tool, folks. That makes all the difference. In fact, you should follow this entire step-by-step process to the letter. And what you shouldn't do is choose a very thin branch because it dries out quickly. You need to choose a branch that's approximately the thickness of a school pencil, like the one you have at home, up to the thickness of a finger. That's the best thickness for selecting a branch. And then, instead of making a straight cut like this, you're going to make a diagonal cut, direct and clean. See? Your cut will look like this. When you make the cut, the sap will start to move up and down through the cuts you've made. So you'll wait a little bit. For now, you're going to remove the excess leaves from your branch because these extra leaves will draw away energy and moisture, and our plant doesn't really need these leaves to root. So let's go ahead and remove all these old leaves here since we don't need them for the rooting process. While we're taking off these leaves, the sap has already moved up and down. Now we're going to make the second cut on our plant, which is to make sure this cut is nice and dry without any sap, see? And then we do this on the top part, the apical part, and we'll also do it on the bottom at the base of our plant. This is the second cut. So we are going to make the separation cut and also a cut to clean off this sap. Now comes the moment where almost everyone makes a mistake, which is to plant this branch in the substrate right after making this cutting procedure. But the branch hasn't healed yet and no one respects that, and this is where the cutting dies. After cutting, do not plant this branch. It needs to form a callus. Ideally, you should wait 3 to 7 days, leaving this branch in a dry environment, but without direct sunlight, just in a well-lit place. Just by doing this, it's already enough for the healing to take place. Now, if you want to ensure this healing in a simple and natural way, you're going to take this little powder here and apply it right on the part you cut, exactly where it's wounded. This powder is a natural healing agent, and I'm sure you already have it at home. It's this powder here. This is ground cinnamon. If you apply this, the healing happens in a safer way, closing the entry point for fungi and opportunistic bacteria that come into the open and exposed wounds of our plants. After it's healed, look, this is the one we just cut, and this one here is already healed. After it's healed, we're going to do a procedure that nobody tells you about, but it makes all the difference in rooting and the success of your cutting. Here I have 100 milliliters of chlorine-free water. In these 100 milliliters of chlorine-free water, we have a rooting product that works for all types of plants, but when used on desert roses, it practically guarantees the rooting of this plant as long as all these protection steps are followed. I use this rooting product here. Those who follow us know that all the products we use, we leave the link in the description. So if you want the products we recommend and use here, which have already been tested, you can access them directly through the link in the description. Here, we're going to shake this rooting product. It's organic, and the recommendation for this one is to use just one capful. Look, just one capful of this rooting product in 100 milliliters of water, and then we can close it. And what are we going to do now? Let's mix this solution, the dark solution, right? Hey guys, before we continue with the video, please leave a comment below telling us the city and country where you're watching us from, because we really love to know how far our videos are reaching. Comment down below. And now we have our rooting solution ready. Look at that, how wonderful. And how do we use this here? It doesn't matter how many branches you cut. You're going to take these branches after you've done this procedure and they've already healed, and you're going to put them in this solution and leave them submerged for 5 to 10 minutes. You can leave them here for 10 minutes because here we have hormones that stimulate branch rooting incredibly. What you should pay attention to is always using the recommended method for the rooting solution you are using. Here it's not a case of the more the better. Too much actually gets in the way. So always follow the manufacturer's recommendation for diluting the rooting solution. Here I'm using just one branch to show you the whole procedure, but you can have 10 desert rose branches and put them in the same amount of rooting solution. So it goes a long way and stimulates the roots without stressing the plant. It's a natural process. This one is an organic rooting solution. While it's soaking here in the solution, we're going to prepare the environment. We're going to plant our cutting. I can plant in a substrate like this, see, light and well draining, but I'm going to teach you something even more powerful, which practically reduces to a minimum the chance that your branch won't take root. You're going to take a little pot you have at home. The pot for this type of planting needs to have plenty of holes. It needs to have drainage for the water, okay? And we're not going to put substrate here. We're going to use construction sand, preferably that coarse sand, okay, folks? You're going to put it in here, see, and preferably it should also be moist. See how this sand is already moist? Because now I don't need to water it anymore, especially since my plant doesn't have roots yet to absorb moisture. So we're simply going to fill this little pot with coarse construction sand to plant our seedling. But why does substrate work and sand also work? This is because our plant roots need oxygen to survive. Standing moisture often means the roots will rot, and sand doesn't retain moisture. It actually releases it very easily, which is ideal for planting our small cutting. So after about 10 minutes, our cutting is finally ready for planting. But when it comes time to plant, guys, you can't bury this cutting too deep, okay? You're going to make a small hole here, about 5 centimeters deep, and place the cutting in it. Then press the sides like this to keep it steady so it doesn't move around during the rooting process, because if it moves too much while it's rooting, it might not take. By following all these steps we're showing you here, you can even write them down to make sure you don't make any mistakes. I'm sure you'll get wonderful rooting at home. Take a look at how our little cutting will look here in the sand. And here you can plant several different cuttings. We're just showing you the entire step-by-step process in a didactic and free way so that you can easily do it yourself at home. Since we have already used moist sand for this, you don't need to water this sand right now. What you will do once a week is just add a little bit of water here. You'll water it abundantly until the water comes out from the bottom. And you know that rooting solution you already prepared and used? Don't throw it away. Now you're simply going to add the rooting solution. This isn't regular watering, okay, folks? Here, you're just going to add a little bit of the rooting solution so that all those rooting hormones also stay in the sand. So the plant will be absorbing this rooting hormone for a longer period than just those 10 minutes we left it here. It's just a tiny bit, not watering. It's simply making those rooting nutrients available in the soil for our plant. In the first few days, it might seem like your plant hasn't changed at all. Later on, it will start to produce new leaves. And once it starts showing new leaves, you can begin to increase the watering. And after a little more time, when it has bigger leaves like this, you can transplant your plant from the sand or substrate into a larger pot and care for it like a normal desert rose. Fertilize regularly and calmly just as you normally would and increase its exposure to light. What you must not do is put it in full sun before it has developed roots. Always place your desert rose, if it doesn't have roots yet, in a well-lit spot, but where it doesn't get direct sunlight, then just gradually increase the amount of light so it always stays beautiful and healthy. It's a wonderful rooting process. I'll show you another one here so you can see how simple and easy it is to root your desert roses, the cuttings you take from your plant. Just look at this wealth of roots and such thick roots here. Look how beautiful this is, everyone. So if you're thinking about pruning your plant to give it a nice full canopy, don't throw away the branches. Make your own seedlings and have more desert roses at home to grow your collection. Decorate a space, give us gifts, or even sell them to earn some extra income to help your family. But Ueni, won't the desert rose I pruned look ugly? Guys, it won't. Just look at the amazing thing that's going to happen. Once you prune it, lateral branches will start to grow and your plant's canopy will get bigger. Everything we're sharing here with you is free. It's been tested so you can apply it without making mistakes. That's what we do here on the channel. So subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with someone you care about, because this video is going to help a lot of people. Your feedback is just as important as this content. So here in the comments section, leave your rating from 0 to 10 for today's content. That way we'll know if we're on the right track or if we need to adjust the direction of what we're bringing to you. All the products we use are listed in the description of this video. And you'll learn a lot more about plants if you click on this video I'm going to leave here at the end, suggested for you to learn more. It's free, but you can also support our channel by clicking the link in the description. I'll wrap things up here. A kiss to your heart. See you next time. I'll leave it here on the side. See you there. Bye-bye. I'm out.